Welcome back to another session in the TAE certification series. Today we will start chapter number 7. In this chapter, we will learn about the critical aspects of verifying the test automation solution. The verification process involves two core components, which would be 7.1, verifying automated test environment, and 7.2, verifying the automated test suite. So let's start with section 7.1. Before starting automated testing, the team needs to check if the automated test environment is all set and working correctly. This pre-testing phase involves a bunch of checks and balances to make sure that everything is in place and running smoothly. This means that they go through each part of the automated test environment to make sure that it is doing what it's supposed to do. Think of it as a sort of pre-flight checklist before taking off with automated testing. There are a number of steps that can be taken to verify these components, and these are as follows. Number 1, test tool installation, setup, configuration, and customization. Number 2, test scripts with known passes and failures. 3, repeatability in setup, tear down of the test environment. 4, configuration of the test environment and components. 5, connectivity against internal and external systems/interfaces. 6, intrusiveness of automated test tools. And 7, framework component testing. Now let's have a look at each of them in detail. Let's start with number 1, test tool installation, setup, configuration, and customization. First, we have components of TAS. The TAS is made up of many components. Each of these need to be accounted for to ensure reliable and repeatable performance. At the core of a TAS are executable components. Now, these are the parts that actually run the test. Then we have functional libraries. These help the components work better by providing additional functions and supporting data and configuration files. These contain important information and settings which are needed for testing. Then we have setting up TAS. The process of configuring a TAS may range from the use of automated installation scripts to manually placing files in corresponding folders. So configuring a TAS is like setting up your phone. So you can use automated processes like app installers, which quickly set up everything for you, or you can manually organize applications into folders, placing them where you want, like arranging files for the TAS. Then we have updates and compatibility. Testing tools, much like operating systems and other applications, regularly have service packs or may have optional or required add-ins to ensure compatibility with any given SUT environment. So think of testing tools like your favorite applications on your phone. So just as apps get updates or sometimes they need extra add-ons for new features, testing tools also get service packs or they are optional add-ons to work smoothly with different system environments. So it's like giving your tools an upgrade to play well with different setups. Next, we have benefits of central repository usage. Advantages of automated installation or copying from a central repository are: the first one is uniformity in TAS versions and configurations across different SUTs. When you are conducting tests across various SUTs, using a central repository to install or copy the TAS makes sure that every test is done using the exact same TAS version and set up on all those different systems. So it's like making sure that everyone plays by the same rules in the testing game. The second advantage is facilitates upgrades to the TAS through the repository. So think of this repository as a sort of hub where we can easily update our TAS. So when there is a new version or some cool updates, this repository makes the whole upgrading process very smooth. So it's like clicking update on your phone apps, which is very simple and efficient. The next point is repository usage, and the process to upgrade to a new version of the TAS should be the same as for the standard development tools. The way we use this repository and upgrade our TAS should be as straightforward as the regular way we handle our usual development tools. It's all about keeping things consistent and making sure that everyone follows the same steps, just like the way we handle other common software updates. So using this central repository makes sure that our testing is fair across different systems. It helps us upgrade our TAS hassle-free and keeps the process consistent and easy, just like our usual software development tools. So if we summarize this, then utilizing a central repository ensures consistency in testing environments. It simplifies the TAS upgrades and aligns the process with standard practices which are observed in software development tools. Number 2 is test scripts with known passes and failures. And the first point is immediate identification of issues. When known passing test cases fail, it is immediately clear that something is fundamentally wrong and should be fixed as soon as possible. Let's say that you are baking a cake and you are following a recipe which you know that it works perfectly every time. But this time the cake turns out all wrong. It's not fluffy and it's not as delicious just the way it was used to be. So that's a big sign that something went seriously off track, and it may be the oven temperature or it may be the ingredients. It's like a warning bell which is telling you to fix it as soon as possible before serving it to the guest. Conversely, when test cases pass even though they should have failed, we need to identify the component that did not function correctly. Now picture this, that let's say that you were expecting a vending machine to give you a can of soda when you put it in the right coins, but instead it gives you a bag of chips, and that's not what you were expecting. So in this case, we would need to check that which part of the vending machine went wrong. Maybe the coin slot is not working properly, or maybe the item which is item dispensing mechanism, something is wrong with that. So when things don't go as expected in test, it's like baking a bad cake or getting chips instead of soda from a vending machine. So it tells us that something needs fixing and we have got to investigate and sort it out to make things right. Next, we have verification of components and metrics. It is important to verify the correct generation of log files and performance metrics. Let's say that you are keeping a diary or a journal about your day. In testing, log files are just like that diary. They record everything that happens during a test. It is important to make sure that these logs are written correctly because they tell us what went right or what went wrong during the test. Then the performance metrics, the next part, they are like scores or grades. So they show us how well the software is performing, like how fast it works or if it's using too much memory. So it is essential to double check these logs and scores to make sure that everything is running smoothly. The next point is ensure automated setup and tear down of the test case / script for accurate testing. Setting up and cleaning up in testing is a bit like preparing a workspace before starting work and then tidying up afterwards. Think of having a button that magically sets up everything you need for a test and then cleans it all after you are done with the test. So it's like a start and finish button for your test environment. So automating this process makes sure that everything is ready for the test, and then when you are done, it just cleans up everything. It's like having a neat and organized workspace to do your work, making sure your tests are accurate and run smoothly without any mess or confusion. Then we have diverse test execution. Execute tests from various test types and levels: functional tests, performance tests, component tests, etc. Okay, so for this one, let's take an example. Let's say that we are testing a new smartphone application, which is known as FitTrack, and it is designed to help users track their fitness progress. Okay, now first let's talk about the functional test. We will perform functional test. It's like checking if all the buttons and features in the application work properly. We would ensure that when users click on the, let's say, star workout button, it begins tracking their exercise. So that will cover the functional test. Then if we talk about the performance test, after functional test, we will run the performance test, which is similar to checking how fast the app responds or handles different user loads. So for FitTrack, our application, this could mean that checking how quickly it records data during intense workout sessions when lots of users are simultaneously using the applications. The third type of testing mentioned is component test. So after that, we will focus on component test. These are like checking specific parts of the application, just as verifying that the calorie counter accurately calculates burnt calories for various exercises. Okay, so when we talk about testing at the framework level, it's like checking the application's overall structure or backbone, right? So that's what's mentioned in the last point. Perform these verifications on the framework level as well. So what is framework level testing? Here we would examine how the whole FitTrack app is put together, ensuring that all the different parts like user interface, database handling, and data tracking work seamlessly as a complete system. It's similar to inspecting the architectural blueprint of a building to confirm that it's sturdy and well organized. So testing at different types: functional, performance, components, and levels, individual features, overall structure. It helps ensure that our application FitTrack, it works smoothly, both in its separate parts and as a unified and reliable fitness tracking app. Moving on to number 3, repeatability in setup/teardown of the test environment. First, we have implementation on different systems. A TAS will be implemented on a variety of systems and servers. Just like how a game works on various consoles like PlayStation, Xbox, or a computer, a TAS is just like that. It needs to work smoothly on different systems and servers, just like a game should play well on different gaming consoles. The next point is ensuring the TAS functions correctly in each environment requires a systematic approach to loading and unloading from the TAS from any given environment. Okay, so let's imagine that any of your favorite game, it suddenly didn't work on one console, but it's working perfectly fine on the another. So that would be really frustrating, right? So similarly, to make sure that the TAS works correctly in each place or environment, it is important to have a well-planned way of putting it into the environment, which is referred to as loading, and taking it out, which means unloading. Now let's see these two concepts in detail. So loading the TAS. This refers to the process of setting up or installing the TAS into a particular environment, such as a computer system, or it can be a server as well. So it involves configuring the necessary components and software to ensure that the TAS can run and perform its testing functions effectively in that specific environment. Then we have unloading the TAS. So unloading refers to the process of removing or uninstalling the TAS from any environment. So it will involve cleaning up or removing all traces of the TAS and its component from the system, and which will make sure that it doesn't leave behind any unwanted data or settings after the testing process is completed. So this will make sure that the TAS can smoothly function across different systems without causing any disruption. Then we have consistency across environments. Successful implementation involves building and rebuilding the TAS without any noticeable change in its operation across multiple environments. Okay, so let's say that think of blocks. So when you build a toy house using blocks, the goal is to rebuild that house over and over, making sure it looks and works the same way each time, and regardless of where you are building it, right? So in the same way, in testing, building and rebuilding the TAS should not show any difference in how it operates, whether it's placed on one computer, another server, or any other setup. So there needs to be a consistency, and this consistency makes sure that the TAS works reliably across various environments without showing any unexpected changes or glitches. The second point is configuration management of TAS components ensures the creation of a dependable configuration when needed. Okay, so configuration management of TAS components is like having a detailed instruction manual or step-by-step guide, just like we have for putting together a piece of furniture. So it makes sure that when you need to assemble the test automation solution, there is a clear and reliable process in place. This management system guarantees that each part of the test automation solution is arranged and set up in a consistent and dependable manner every time. So it's like following a set of instructions that always lead to the same reliable outcome and ensures that the TS components are structured correctly and consistently whenever they are put together. We will end our today's session over here, and in next session we will continue with the remaining steps. Till then, take care and happy testing.